everybody. This is day 6 of the Derby City Classic. We're in Louisville, Kentucky, and this is the early edition of the Inside Pool Extreme Press Box. I'm Aaron Setley, along with Rachel Abink, and our guest today is Hall of Famer World Champion Buddy Hall.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, buddy. How are you enjoying the tournament so far?
Well, so far I'm on my way home. Well, I finished pretty good in the banks. I went through 9 rounds in the banks and 4 rounds in the one pocket, and I'm just a little too tired to play in the 9-ball. You know, it's kind of a grueling setup here when you're trying to play all 3 of these divisions, and you have to be there for every draw, and you're liable to get to the point to where you're playing every round, and it's really a young man's game here at the Derby City.
Yeah, people are having trouble finding some sleep, you know, not being scheduled properly.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But there's been a question I've been wanting to ask you. I know there's been all these stories about when Efren Reyes first came over to the United States. He went under the alias of Cesar Morales, and he was beating up everybody. No one can touch him. And then I heard that he ran into someone named Buddy Hall.
You're going to put me on the spot here, huh?
We're going to put you on the spot.
It's his job. He's
good
at it.
This was in 1985. It was his first trip over here.
Okay.
And he had played Keith and Louis Roberts and Mike Siegel. He had beaten everybody he'd played so far. And people were starting to ask me if I was going to play him, so I told them, yeah, I'll play him. I said, we'll play in the tournament room. I said, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to charge a gate. I said, I'd like to charge a gate, and no matter who wins the match, we'll just chop that gate up. Well, the owner, he loved that idea. You know, you're going to get to fill the place up and run his waitresses and stuff through there, right? So they filled the place up, and we played, and I won, and we chopped up the gate. So that was my introduction to Cesar Morales, and later on I found out that him and Wade Crane were the only 2 there under aliases. Wade played under Billy Johnson, and Efren played under Cesar Morales, and they finished 1st and 2nd in the tournament.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did you play? How did you play Efren in that challenge?
Real good. How did I play? We played even.
The format, yeah.
We played even 10-ball.
10-ball. Okay.
And it was 1 foul rules. It wasn't Texas Express. It was 1 foul. You could push out after the break. If you fouled on the break, if there were balls, if the 1 ball went in the hole, or if it was behind the head string, it would spot. And then if other balls went in with it, then they would also spot, and then the incoming player would have the option to shoot or pass. It was a different game.
Is that like the old school rules? Because I know we were talking a little earlier about how 9-ball's almost dying out a little bit. Maybe things going to 10-ball, or even do something different with that game.
Well, I think that they took in my opinion, 9-ball, by the correct rules, is the very best game that you can play.
Oh, that's the old rules.
Right. Because all games come into it. Straight pool, because of your patterns. Your shot making is the 9-ball. Your safety play is the 1 pocket. Your rotation play is rotation. Right. You know, it just puts all together. Billiards, straight rail billiards, 2 rail, 3 rails. You know, it adds all the games of pool into one game, into 9-ball, if it's played by the proper rules. Now, with the proper rules, what I say proper rules, if you're playing 9-ball tournament rules, it should be whoever breaks the balls, if they make a ball on the break, they continue shooting the lowest numbered ball. If they happen to break the balls and say they scratch on the break and they don't make a ball on the break, well, the 1 ball's behind the head string. Say the 1 ball's behind the head string, most of the time it would be.
Right.
Well, the 1 ball goes to the spot, and the incoming player has the option to shoot or pass from behind the head string. He doesn't have a ball in hand. He has a ball in hand behind the head string. Now, one of the rules that I like, the reason that I like that so much is because if the best players in the world are playing, and one of them makes 2 balls on the break, and something comes around from Mars or something and slaps the ball in the hole, now they've got ball in hand anywhere on the table. Those 2 balls that went in the hole, they stay down, and it's just too severe a penalty for scratching on the break.
Right.
You know, and it just takes so much out of the game. If you've noticed, how many times in the last, since 1996, have you seen anybody shoot a spot shot playing 9-ball? There is no such thing.
Is this how the rules used to be then? Is that how it was?
Well,
with
used
9-ball?
to. Used
the
to.
push outs and all.
Right.
You got 2 pushes. Is that
No, well, that's when we gambled. Now that's a different story altogether. But when they went to the Texas Express or Pro Express rules, which were Texas Express, they just called them Pro because they didn't want to name them after another tour. So they used Pro Express rules. Well, that would bring the spot shot back in. You get to shoot a spot shot once in a while. You know, like if somebody made if the one was behind the head string, nothing went on the break, you'd go on the spot, you get to shoot a spot shot. Well, that took a lot out of the game, believe it or not. That took a lot away from the game.
Right.
But now what you were talking about, there's 2 fouls in a row. JR, my friend that does your Inside Pool magazine, he can remember this because, you know, JR's been around quite a while, and by the way, does a pretty nice magazine too, don't you think?
Yeah.
Anyway, we would play the rules of push out.
Yeah.
We called it push out, and what we would do, we had the option. Anytime it came our shot, we could roll the cue ball anywhere we wanted to. Well, now that wasn't a foul, but it was a foul only if the incoming player said go ahead. If he said go ahead, now you're on 1. Now if you foul on the second shot, it's cue ball in hand.
Okay.
But no matter what happens, everything that goes in illegally goes to the spot. It spots. And it was such a fantastic, unbelievable game. You can't imagine how much talent there is in that game.
That's got to be so different. I mean, from
Oh, it
playing
is
regular-
different.
I mean, completely different game than playing what we're used to. Than
Well,
normal
nobody
9-ball.
knows how to play it.
No.
You've never seen that
No,
play.
and it's hard to find tapes on that too.
Right,
You know?
right. Well, right. Push out tape, there are none.
Right.
When Johnson City started being televised by Wide World of Sports,
Right.
ABC,
Right.
carried that, and their main game that they carried was straight pool. And once in a while they would do the all around on the Wide World of Sports. And their 9-ball thing was it was a 1 foul, ball in hand, but all balls would spot, and you would shoot off a first foul from behind the head string with the option, which is a great rule. If the person that breaks the balls fouls, the incoming player doesn't have to be penalized for that.
But
If he wants, he can say, I don't want this shot. You continue to shoot. Now you're on 1.
who did you enjoy watching straight pool in Johnson City the best? Who was the best? of that?
Straight pool?
Yeah.
Straight pool.
Because I mean, our high run at this tournament in the straight pool is what 130.
Yeah, 130.
That Neil's pick. Yeah.
Well, the person that won the most straight pool tournaments
Yeah. back
at
then.
Johnson City was Wimpy Lassiter.
Yeah.
Luther Lassiter.
Was he
His
fun to
nickname was
watch?
Wimpy. Oh, a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
His very best game was 9-ball.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to play him?
Yeah, I did. I did.
How do you fare against him?
Well, I only played him one time, and I happened to win that match. But this is the difference. See, back then, I was just a kid, you know,
Right.
and I looked up on the board. I'm on the winner's side, and somebody had beaten him. You know, so we got to play at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I look up the night before, and I'd say, I got to play Wimpy Lassiter. I said, man, I get to play Wimpy Lassiter. You know, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
Man,
That's a
I
good
get to
attitude.
play Wimpy Lassiter. It's not, oh man, I got to play Wimpy. You know,
And
wasn't
10
that-
a.m. Well, he might have been up all night
Right.
gambling or something.
So it was like really a play. I mean, an honor. You know, I really looked forward to playing, and I played good. You know, for
Yeah.
my speed, I played good, and I won that match.
Awesome.
Now I can look up, and this happens to me all the time. Right now, I look up and say, "Oh man, I got to play him again." You know, stuff like that. You know, it's like that. You know.
Simona's cloth. Authentic, accurate, always.